From August 22nd to September 9th of 2022, we enter Mercury Retrograde Shadow Period, which will affect our love lives and relationships in purely practical ways. This season can be brutal, but during the 2-week retrograde shadow period, the universe gives you some help. Here's what you can expect from this season's shadow period. Aries. Well, Aries, grab some tea because there's a lot to unpack this year for you. Write this down. Mercury's shadow period impacts your life all the way into the middle of next year. For starters, you will get no breaks in the love department during Mercury retrograde shadow. You will want to review your routines and health habits, which will include how you want your love life and relationships to function. You're ready to focus on the hard work that makes love last, but you're not going to want to do this alone. You want a partner who's your equal. Your refusal to compromise standards starts with your ruling planet, Mars in Gemini, where it will enter its shadow period, and then Mars will go retrograde for the rest of the year. Why does this matter? Gemini is also ruled by the planet Mercury, and Mars will be influenced by Mercury for the next month, downloading new information over the next few weeks. Mars in Gemini turns up your desire to talk about your feelings and to analyze them. You will want to be heard and to know that your significant other is listening with the intent of taking action. So during this Mercury shadow period, you're going to be ultra sensitive to any person who talks about themselves and who has no interest in your life. If your partner is selfish, arrogant, or tolerably narcissistic, sad for them. They may get the boot before the shadow period is over. But if your lover is engaged, involved, and supportive, lucky them. You'll be their best friend for life, loyal to the end of time. Taurus. What a sweet spot for you to find yourself in during this Mercury retrograde shadow period. You've released the tension of Mars from your zodiac sign, and now you're ready to focus on things that ease your mind and give you a sense of comfort and peace. As one of the more sensual signs of the zodiac, you're ready to indulge yourself in the finer things in life. Romantic barbecues, long walks on the beach beneath a pale moon while holding the hand of someone you love. You want to entwine your life around someone and wrap their soul around your pinky finger. You, Taurus, are beyond ready to give, and you may not want to take anything in return. You're ready to give unconditional love that's only understood by the celestial gods themselves, but the problem is that you may find yourself in a position where you can't express your heart in this way. You might be single or have a full work schedule and no PTO. Your partner may be acting emotionally unavailable, and it's going to take time to build that bridge back to their heart. All this is going to come to the surface during Mercury's shadow period. The end result? You will respond with love and fill your heart with romantic ideas on how you want to fix the problems so that you can express them. Once Mercury retrograde starts, you'll be free to unwind some of the snares in your life that have inhibited you from being the sultry, sexual beast that you know you are. But for now, your dreams will require planning, and planning will involve making the time that you know is required for love in the near future. Gemini, this shadow period is going to be a little tough on you, so you may want to buy yourself a journal or make use of a voice recorder to organize and collect your thoughts. You've talked a lot over the last few months about your love life, and now you may eat some of your words. Mars in your zodiac sign this month is going to bring some troubles your way, and it's going to beg you to answer the question, who's in charge of this relationship? The answer may be no one because of free will, and this is where you'll feel the sting of any pride or arrogance you may not see within yourself. Mars can be a tough planet to have in your sign during Mercury's shadow period because it points out inner dishonesty. You will learn what you didn't see before and realize the role that you played. You may want to make repairs to wounded relationships with friends, families, and a significant other, but there will be limitations. It's those limitations that you'll discover during the shadow period, and they will require you to exercise patience. Patience is not your strongest trait. You like to solve problems as soon as you see them, but this may not be the approach that gets you your goals in love. So write down your thoughts, Gemini. Don't text them. Cancer. Your little heart will burst with joy when you realize how special Mercury's shadow period can be for your zodiac sign. This opens the floodgates of all things quaint and intimate in your love life. From parks and picnics to pillow talk, you are given the gift of intimate conversations, and your longing for them will be impossible to quench. You may have to be the initiator of plans and gatekeeper of disruptions. Your love life grows leaps and bounds during the next 2 weeks, where you can see opportunity to make plans for more one-on-one conversations. Leo. And so it begins, Leo, the first steps towards the love of a lifetime. You may have found the idea of self-love slightly cringy because you always felt like you love yourself thoroughly. But there are holes in your heart caused by fake lovers who promised you the stars but left you empty-handed, crying over their lies. During Mercury's shadow period, you get to review a few things that are your foundations for love. Your values, boundaries, and deal breakers, and what you will and will not tolerate from another person. You You may have a wish list in your head for what you want in an ideal partner, but during this time, pay close attention to what you dislike the most. The list you compile over the next 2 weeks can help you rule out anyone who falls short of your dream partner. And if you're already in a relationship, this list can allow you to share what you want to work on with your mate. You'll find it much easier to have something concrete to share instead of roaring when you're angry or upset and feeling hurt. Virgo. First, we must address the elephant in the room. You're a giver to the point of self-depletion. During the next 2 weeks, you may notice that there are times that you have to be the taker. It's not a position that you're comfortable with, but it's part of the human experience. Virgo and Mercury's shadow period is going to drive this concept home for you. You're particularly vulnerable with Mercury retrograde and shadow periods. If you're not careful, you can become overly anxious, overthinking, and worry more than you should about yourself, your future, your friend's future, and what's happening in your significant other's life. Worrying too much will bring you to a place of pure exhaustion, but there's a rainbow at the end of this rainy day. You learn the art of letting go and allowing others to fend for themselves. And you may also discover how awesome it is when they tend to you instead of you doing it all. So trust the universe and see how incredible mutual reception in love can be. Libra. Enough with the niceties, Libra. There are deal breakers. Sometimes you stick around too long for a person to change, and it's to your detriment. But on the other hand, you know when you've found the one that there are going to be telltale signs that reveal how they feel about you in return. So when red flags fly high during Mercury shadow period, you will have to decide. And decision-making, unfortunately, is not your strongest trait. Luckily for you, Mercury's shadow period lasts 2 weeks, so mark September 9th, 2022 on your calendar. Circle it in red. Schedule meetings with your friends and your therapist if you have to decide if a relationship or any person you're crushing on is worth your time and energy. Yes, they may be cuter than a button, but you want more from love. During Mercury's shadow period, you may realize that you also deserve it. Scorpio. There are certain friends whom you know have a serious crush on you, and despite the fact that you've not felt the same way, you may start to feel as though you do. Mercury retrograde's shadow period will have your spidey senses on high alert as you recognize passionate energy boiling beneath the surface that promises a type of love that lasts forever. If you're a single Scorpio, you may find yourself in a wonderful position to meet a new person through your friendship circle. You will want to be social during the next few weeks so you can be where the action is. If you lock eyes with the person that sends positive energy down your spine, heed that cue. You may have met your soulmate and they feel the same way about you. Be sure to investigate and see where things lead. Mercury retrograde's shadow period may have you realizing your type is not the only type of person that you could want. Sagittarius. Respect is such a serious subject for you, so when you notice that respect in a relationship is starting to dwindle, it can send you running in the opposite direction. During this shadow period, you may notice more deal breakers than ever before. You may see that you're not really in the right place with this person. Perhaps you knew it all along and wanted to give them a chance to prove you wrong. But the respect button pushed is an automatic eject from the vehicle that you've been riding. So during the next 2 weeks, this can be where you have to say goodbye and tell them to hit the road. If you're single, Sagittarius, you may have a hot love affair with the person that you work with. You may have felt the spark of lust a few times already, but the next 2 weeks can have you realizing it's much deeper than this. You're falling hard for a person that you don't know, but there's just that it factor. Mercury retrograde's shadow period can have you analyze the situation and decide whether you'd like to risk it when it comes to romantic love. Capricorn. The cynic in you may war against the world during Mercury retrograde shadow phase. You do believe in love, but you also want it to be practical. You want love to come with everything that involves solid character and loyalty. When people play loosely with their emotions and words, you withdraw from the interaction quickly until you feel that you can safely come out and give your heart away. During the Mercury retrograde shadow period, your belief in what love is and is not will feel challenged. Any myths you've bought into will come to the surface so that you can reconnect to what you want, don't want, and what you need in a relationship. You may find yourself utterly okay with being alone than working through a compromising relationship. The following 2 weeks can force you to decide about your deal breakers regarding love. Aquarius. Relationships can be a lot of work, and you know that more than anyone else. That's why you're so particular when it comes to the person you get involved with. You tend to remain detached until you're certain that the individual you want to be with fits your high standards for love and relationships. During the next 2 weeks, you'll see what you need to in your relationship. If your partner is one that you cannot imagine your life without, you may begin to tighten up your relationship by spending more quality time together. If you're single and simply looking for a romantic partner, you may just fall into a friends with benefits situation until you feel ready to fully commit to one person. Pisces. Anything that involves the zodiac sign Virgo automatically begins to impact your zodiac sign, especially in romantic relationships. Mercury's shadow may stir your deepest sentiments about every relationship you've ever had, or didn't have. If you're in a relationship now, you may review each other's habits to see how you interact on a daily basis. If the relationship has become stale and predictable, some of you may find comfort in the ordinary rhythm of life, but part of you may also become aware of how dangerous this can be. You may fear things that you hadn't before just because you don't want to lose those romantic parts of your relationship. Mercury Retrograde's shadow period can be a time of renewal in all the right ways for your love life. Mercury Retrograde's shadow period can bring both good and bad things to our lives, but the next 2 weeks may not be as bad as you think. Let us know in the comments how it affected your life this time around, and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to YourTango for more on your zodiac sign.